It's time for Down on the Corner with Dale Hoffman, North Arkansas's premier news talk program. Brought to you by Brood Awakening Coffee, with 3 locations to serve you. Baxter Regional Medical Center lobby, Highway 62 412 at Balmer Boulevard, and the Walmart East Plaza. And now, Down on the Corner.
Good morning, North Central Arkansas and Southern Missouri. It is Tuesday, June 12th, 2018. It is 7 a.m.
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop.
We got
Thank
some
goodness
rain.
we went on the air so these two guys had quit singing.
What?
What?
You
you're
love
talking
it,
about.
you know it.
What?
You love it, you know it.
Between you and him singing off-key is kind of like being off balance.
What do you
you
mean
know,
off
just-
key? You're listening off key.
It's your ear.
Perfect
Hey,
key.
just the knob a little bit.
Yeah.
Hey, it's in stereo. What are you complaining about?
Well, yeah. Sure, I'm glad it's not quadraphonic.
Oh, we can make that happen.
I'm afraid of that, yeah.
Bring in some more mics here.
We've had a nice little shower come through already in Mountain Home, and hopefully some folks are getting some rain. We welcome you to Down on the Corner program. Dale Hoffman, your host, along with Scooter Callis and Jerry Hogan.
The singing duo?
Huh?
The singing duo?
Boy, that's scary. Yeah.
You have any song requests?
No,
Send them
we
in
don't
to-
have any song
Oh,
If
requests.
you got any
Jerry.
song
None of
requests, please send them to Facebook message to Jerry, and we'll be happy to oblige.
Moving
Well,
right
calm
along
down.
here, we're enjoying Brood Awakening coffee. Apparently, these two guys have had a little bit too much.
I got my water.
Yeah,
I'm
what's
good.
in that water
I'm like
bottle?
this
Yeah.
all the time.
Uh-huh. Be sure to check out the 3 locations of Brood Awakening Coffee. BRMC Lobby, 62 East Plaza on Bomber Boulevard. Mike and his staff will look forward to serving you today. The Brood Awakening Coffee is the best coffee in town. If you're not drinking Brood Awakening, you're just drinking muddy water.
They were out that taste of Twin Lakes,
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Saw
Were they?
him walking around. So,
Good.
Mike.
Yep.
I hated missing that. I really did. I always like going to Taste of Twin Lakes.
I got about 4,000 or 5,000 calories in me that day. That was a good day.
That's it. You held back.
I did.
Be sure to check out Brood Awakening Coffee. 3 locations to serve you best coffee in town. And Roller Funeral Homes brings morning prayer each and every day across the state of Arkansas with all our respect. Roller Funeral Homes of Arkansas. And Brad was here last week. Very impressed with Brad and the work that he does and the professionalism from Roller Funeral Home. And so when the need arises, Roller Funeral Home with all our respect. Let's pause now for the morning prayer. Heavenly Father, once again I pray for the president as he works for peace with North Korea, while Hollywood makes fun of and degrades the president, even to the point of vicious name-calling. He's working to stop a nuclear war. Lord, may this be a permanent peace, one that sets an example to the rest of the world, and all we want is peace and prosperity for the people of the world. I pray you bless and protect our leaders, and that's my prayer today. Amen.
Amen.
Roller Funeral Homes of Arkansas bring morning prayer each and every day with all our respect. Roller Funeral Homes.
Dun, dun, dun.
Greg's Farm
Rolling,
Services
rolling,
brings you the
rolling.
morning weather. Are you singing Rawhide again?
Oh, that was for the roller.
Okay, who recorded
Roller.
that? Okay, if you're singing, no.
Son's a pioneer.
No.
They
Who did
sung
it first?
Somebody on your tube radio, I'm sure.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's back in the 50s, so it has to be tubes.
Right.
Frankie Lane.
Oh, everybody knows Frankie Lane.
Oh, Frankie.
He was touring with the Stones in 1978 at Madison
Just
Square Garden.
tell us. I mean,
Frankie.
Uncle Frankie.
Yeah.
Everybody knows
Gosh
Frankie.
almighty.
Come on.
Everybody knows Frankie Lane.
Oh,
What
sure.
record label?
Oh,
Oh, it had to have been the Stones, man.
What record label?
Well, the one with the tongue hanging out.
No. That was their own label.
Right.
Oh,
They
I
broke
remember.
off from London
it
Records.
was the round one.
The round one?
Yeah.
Being that the TV show was on CBS, it'd probably be Columbia Records, right?
Everybody
There you go.
knew that.
Anyway, Greg's Farm Services brings you the morning weather on the farm, around the home, in the community. Greg's Farm Services. We'll check out store specials and announcements. Woo! Help wanted. Looky there.
Yep.
Customer service and sales position at the feed store. Requirements include friendly, sincere demeanor, standard keyboarding skills, ability to perform basic math in your head, count about
You're
cash, change. Take your shoes off, Jerry.
Jerry's out.
Capable of carrying 55 bags for customers and willing to be on your feet most of the day. Interested? Click right there to continue. There you go. They need some help.
I would think you'd
Then
have to have some kind of knowledge about that business.
I bet they could show you
But
real
they
quick.
could teach you.
Yeah.
Teach you real quick
Yeah.
about fertilizers and all that. Okay. Go
Greg's
ahead.
Wildlife Expo comes up on the 11th of August. That's now under 2 months. Click that space right there for details. Father's Day is coming up. Gifts available at Greg's Farm Services.
When is Father's Day?
I think Sunday. It's not marked on this calendar.
This Sunday?
I don't know.
No.
All kinds of good things available at Greg's Farm Services. The Flex Right Garden Hose 50 foot for $19.99. The Duet 3-year weed barrier for $4.99. That's $1 off there. 3 foot by 50 foot. Be sure to check that out. Greg's Farm Services brings you morning weather each and every day. This morning we just had a shower come through this part of Mountain Home. We're still at 72 degrees here, 73 in Harrison, 74 at Hardy, 70 at Mountain View, 75 at Yellville, 70 at Marshall, 72 at Calico Rock along the beautiful White River. Around the region, St. Louis is checking in at 77, while Poplar Bluff is at 75, but it's dropped to 66 at Branson, and West Plains is at 72. In contrast, northern part of the country, 46 this morning in Watford City, North Dakota. I'm going to refresh this again, Scooter, see where that front is at. We have a line of shower activity coming through the area. We had what kind of a wagon wheel spoke of rains coming off this one front. But this is part of that cold front they said was going to be coming through. You can see that central Illinois, well, let's say east central Illinois, over around Effingham towards Terre Haute, Indiana, down into western Kentucky. Part of that shower broke off and went that direction. Well, we got the one sitting in the four-state area of Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas, and Oklahoma. I'm going to hit the Tulsa stop first, Scooter.
All right.
I'm going to head to Tulsa right here. This is the western side of the shower activity. You can see it just northeast of Oklahoma City, where they've got a severe thunderstorm watch and warning out over there. It's affecting Joplin and Springfield, Missouri right now, and just south of Chanute, Kansas. Fayetteville, the Fort Smith area, Bentonville all being affected by some showers right now. Nothing severe showing up in that part of the state. Let the Springfield stop so we see the other part of it. Scattered showers from I-44, Joplin, Springfield, Lebanon, Rolla, and some just east of Jefferson City. You can see Baxter County right there, Mountain Home, with the showers moving through the Mountain Home area just a few minutes ago. Back this up and hit Little Rock, and we'll see the whole state. This is what it looks like from the southern edge of the storm front. I don't know how much more we'll have coming through. We sure could use a little bit more rain.
Looks like we have quite a bit above us that's still coming down.
It just depends on how that breaks off, with the humidity and heat, and that's the fuel for the storm. So right now, Highway 62, 412 west affected by this. Later on, it could affect 412, 62 east of Mountain Home. Interstate 49 being affected between Fort Smith and Fayetteville, and I-40 at Fort Smith be getting a little bit here. Other than that, the other parts of the interstate are clear. I-30, Texarkana, Little Rock, and I-40 east, Little Rock to Memphis, and I-555 at Jonesboro. Highway 167 at Batesville is in good shape. 67 north of Poplar Bluff. You will hit some shower activity possibly on 65 between Little Rock and Branson. Now let's take a look at the St. Louis stop and see where we're at here. You can see it in Illinois there, just east of Effingham, Illinois, and I-70 all the way down to Mount Vernon, just east of Mount Vernon and I-64. Nothing going on in the St. Louis area there. Anyway, that's what it looks like.
Forecast.
Yeah, let's see. Let me go.
Just throwing that out there.
How about to see what? Oh, there's a good picture of that radar. Look at there. That's a good stop right there. That gives you the whole cluster right there.
Yeah, and you're wondering if we got any more coming down.
Yeah, well, yeah. It's got about 100 miles to travel from here to there, so we'll wait and see. And I gotta get right there, Mountain Home. There we go. For today, 30% chance of showers, of high of 89, low tonight 71. Tomorrow, 40% chance of thunder showers with a high of 86. Drops to a 30% chance with a low of 68 on Wednesday night. Then Thursday, a 20% chance, high of 88. Friday, sunny and warm, hot, 91. Saturday, hot.
Hot.
Wonder what we're going to do when summer gets here.
Summer's here, I'm telling you. After
Work.
Temperature-wise,
after
is
Memorial Day, it's summer.
it's summer. All right. And so,
There's your weather.
there's your weather. We've got a sponsor for the community calendar. And I'm going to bring that up right here. Check out affordable housing, 870-741-2883. If you're not happy with your current rental situation, there can be an alternative. Affordable housing has available and affordable homes for rent in your area. You can call them for details at 870-741-2882. affordable housing.
Bring your community calendar.
Ta-da-ta-da.
Here we go.
You're on, Jerry. No.
It's brought to you by Affordable Housing. For all your affordable housing needs, give them a call. It's your community calendar this weekend, June 14th through the 16th in Big KC, Kansas City. You're going to have the Tumbleweed Concert Series.
Where's this at?
Kansas City.
Really?
You can go out there and camp all weekend. It's a huge country event. Give you a little heads up. Next year's headlining act will be Alabama.
Ooh.
This year, they had tickets are $69 for a single day, $189 for VIP. If you want to camp, it's $34. RV camping $199. But they have a all weekend concert. Give you a little clue of some artists here. You have Marty Stewart, Robert Earl Keen, Cody Johnson, Dale Watson, Ray Wiley Hubbard, Shooter Jennings, Ward Davis. It's what you call the red dirt outlaw country, and there's about 50 more on there. 50. Billy Don Burns, our own boy from 56 Arkansas, will be there, and just a whole bunch of people.
All right.
And you have June 20th. We go from outlaw country to the Bacon Brothers at ASU Mountain Home Wednesday at 7 p.m. And then June 21st, we'll have our Mountain Home Substitute Training at Dunbar Auditorium. That's Thursday at 9 a.m. So if you want to teach the little chitlins part-time, that's
The who?
Chitlins. Mountain Home Substitute Training.
Chitlin training.
Chitlin training. You know what I'm saying, man. There's going to be about 50 chitlins there. You need to learn how to train them.
Community calendar brought to you by Affordable Housing. Check out Affordable Housing. 870-741-2883. Time for a break. Jamie Leach from First Step BRMC is here today. So stick around. We're going to be right back.
Hello, I'm Charles Ferguson. Here at Mountain View Chevrolet, we still do business the old-fashioned way with honesty and integrity. And we have a good inventory of new Chevy cars, trucks, and SUVs from large to small. Our service department has all GM certified technicians, and our friendly salespeople are ready and eager to fit a car truck to your needs in a price range you can afford. We also have a lot full of pre-owned cars and trucks, program and new car trade-ins to choose from. So come see us at Mountain View Chevrolet.
Diatley Dental Care is a family-owned dental practice. Doctors Irvin and Christina Diatley grew up in the Twin Lakes area and are proud to serve the community. With modern treatment methods and state-of-the-art technology, they are dedicated to providing exemplary care to patients of all ages. Our compassionate team consistently receives training above and beyond the standard of care.
We're changing the way you see dentistry.
Come be a part of our dental family.
Do you know where your money goes when you give to charity? At the Salvation Army, 85 cents of every dollar stays to help those in need in our local community. Hi, I'm Captain Spaulding. The money we raise help people in the surrounding 5 counties, including Baxter, Marion, Sharp, Izard, and Fulton. You can help by donating your unwanted items and by shopping at the Salvation Army store. Those in need get assistance with rent, utilities, sending kids to camp, and many other things. When it comes to this charity, the Salvation Army always helps those in our community.
You've tried medications just cover up the pain, and you've tried dieting to help lose weight. Before you try something drastic like surgery to get rid of the numbness and tingling, why don't you try a better approach to health? Hi, I'm Dr. Charles Osgood, and at Mountain Home Family Chiropractic, we heal the whole person the natural way.
At Mountain Home Family Chiropractic, we take a hands-on approach to chiropractic care, massage therapy, and nutritional counseling. Our 20 years of service has led to successful results.
When I come in to see Dr. Osgood, sometimes after one adjustment, I have immediate relief. Sometimes it takes 4 or 5 adjustments.
I recommend Mountain Home Family Chiropractic because it really works and keeps me pain-free.
Mountain Home Family Chiropractic supports the community by donating to Mountain Home Food Basket and the Lions Club. Request an appointment with us today at Mountain Home Family Chiropractic. Excellence for your body and frame alignment.
7:15, and we want to welcome Jamie from First Step VRMC. How you been? Good to see you again.
Thank you. Good to see you guys too. Thank you for having me back, and yeah, it's good to be here this morning. Thank you.
And so, where do we start? You know, they talk about the addiction programs, and let's talk about addictions. It could be just about anything.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, you know, a lot of the focus lately in the media and just around town has been, you know, the opiate epidemic, if you want to call it that, which is a huge problem. I think it's been there for a while. It's just kind of now getting the attention. So I don't know that it's really a new problem so much, but that's kind of at the forefront. But absolutely, it could be anything. I mean, obviously at First Step we're focusing on, you know, drugs and alcohol, but you could be addicted to a lot of different things, substances, habits, just, you know, various things. So and as we talked about last time, you know, our area, especially in this area in the Midwest, you know, meth is still a huge problem, very prevalent. So that's something that we are still fighting and probably will be for a long time, unfortunately.
Can addictions like alcoholism be hereditary?
There is definitely a link between the two, and I don't know all the ins and outs of that, but I know that that is something that even when the doctors come in to do their initial assessment on our patients, for example, that's something that they ask them, because there definitely is a link there. I think you're just more predisposed. It's not a curse that you're just going to be that way, but it's certainly, I think that you're certainly more, you know, you're not necessarily going to be the person that can just pick up a drink on the weekend and have a beer here and there and without kind of taking it to the extreme.
Right.
So
now, what about tobacco use? Let's say that, let's just say there's a mom out there that smoked before she conceived and then stopped, but maybe even smoked during the pregnancy. Can that affect the child into dependency on tobacco later on?
Tobacco, that's a good question. I honestly would have to say I'm not as familiar with tobacco, although it would stand to reason, especially now that I think there's been a law that you can't, I don't know if it's passed yet or whatever, but you know, the law that you're not supposed to smoke when you have children in the car.
Right.
Obviously it's to protect them, but also I would think, you know, with all the chemicals in the cigarettes, that absolutely it could cause them to want to smoke.
Bloodstream, and you know, you would think that would have to affect during pregnancy.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, when you said smoking, like in a car, years ago when I was in the garage, you get in, especially in the wintertime, the two things you didn't want to smell in the car was dog hair, wet dog hair, and cigarette smoke.
Well, it's, you know, and I'm really glad that they're either passed or passing that law. I think it's really important. But I mean, obviously when I was young, and I'm sure years before that too, it was no big deal. And people didn't really realize the repercussions of what they were doing.
Yeah.
My grandparents, gosh, they smoked like chimneys. And I'm sure with kids in the car or house or anywhere else, they never really thought of it as an issue. The doctors
secondhand smoke.
Right. Yeah. And I think it's just as bad as smoking. And I know when the doctors, my mom's a nurse, and she, you know, the doctors used to smoke at the hospital, and they had,
kidding,
you know,
really?
and they had smoking rooms, and so it just wasn't a big deal, you know. And I think it's almost kind of like the opiates. I think it's always been a problem, but until someone brings it to light and really points out those things, people don't, you know, they just don't know. It's lack of kind of education in some ways.
Well, I remember vaguely when the report came out in 1964 that the Surgeon General had ruled that cigarette smoking did cause cancer. And of course the big name in that day was John Wayne, the movie actor that came out that had the cancer and had to be treated for it. And then, you know, you go back 54 years.
Right.
Cancer treatment was in its infancy as compared to what we have right now.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, I don't.
They're doing a big, I think there's been, well, I know there's been some studies. There's a group out of Harrison that does prevention efforts, and through Baxter County as well. And tobacco is one of those. And they have shown due to more education and things like that at a younger level, that tobacco use has dropped. I mean, it's still a problem, obviously, but I think with the hike in the cost and the taxes and all that too, that puts a little bit of a damper on it, because that's expensive. I think they're like $5 or $6 a pack, and for name brand cigarettes, something to that effect. So
when I rode to school with some guys that were, when I was a sophomore, there's a guy across the street that was a senior, and I rode to high school with him. And every morning we'd have to stop by what was then Holiday Inn, which is now, I think, River Rock. He handed me 25 cents. Run here and get me a pack of cigarettes. So run into the lobby, drop it here like this, run up with a pack of Cools.
Right, yes.
25 cents.
Yeah.
You remember those days? You remember the cigarette vending machines?
I remember the cigarette vending machines, yep.
I'll have to tell a little story on myself on that one, because you just reminded me of something. So I also, when I was young, had, I probably smoked a couple cigarettes, which I regret, and had friends that did. And even when I was in, when would that been? Junior high, I lived over by that same place. It was Holiday Inn, I think you said. And yeah, I think it was like $1.25. So friends would go in there, clink, clink the quarters, and pull the little thing and get their cigarettes, so they didn't have to, underage or whatever. So yeah, they've definitely.
Well, I remember when I first moved here, there's a young boy, probably 6, 7 years old, and he come running down the road, and another neighbor boy says, "Hey, where are you going, Ronnie?" He said, "I'm going down to the store to get my dad a pack of Salem's." He had $1.25 in his hand going down a little East Side Market in those days on 5 South.
Right.
It didn't matter he's 6, 7 years old.
Yeah, I think they've cracked down a lot, you know, which is, that's another example. It just wasn't that big of a deal. People really didn't see it as much of a, a problem. Yeah. So, but my grandmother, when she passed away, one of her main health issues was emphysema, COPD. And once you're around someone like that and kind of their final stages, oh boy, that'll really make you think about smoking, because it's kind of just like a fish out of water. They just really cannot breathe, and it's painful to just watch somebody struggle like that. So,
in your line of work, do you see smokeless tobacco being an issue? Because it can be as habit forming as smoking.
Yes, yeah, and definitely we ask our patients before they. Everybody point at Scooter. No, I'm just joking. Guilty.
Jerry's keeping quiet because he's got his hidden.
I'm enjoying
I'm not here to judge. I'm just pointing out facts. Yeah. No judgment.
All right, quit judging us, ma'am.
I will not be welcome back, I can tell. No, I really am not judging anyone, because we've all had I've had my things, and we've all had but obviously the best thing is not to use tobacco, of course, definitely. When people are going through, I just had the conversation yesterday, when people are going through treatment for addictions, however, like if they're coming off of, well, really anything, opiates, meth, alcohol, or whatever, this is my opinion, probably going to be frowned upon. I think in the very beginning, if they are tobacco users, sometimes they're going to need to use tobacco for a little while, because they're giving up something so big. The tobacco can kind of be secondary. Not that it's not deadly,
this is a
but
step down.
I think, I think people try and quit everything at once, and if you can, awesome. That's definitely the best route. But some of our patients are really freaked out because in a hospital you can't smoke cigarettes, but they can bring in smokeless tobacco, and I think that's if that's what gets them in the door and helps them to kick a larger habit, then I think it's okay, and hopefully we can work on the tobacco a little bit down the road. So
what about that vaping? Is that like a concentrated form of nicotine?
That's still new to me too. I guess I'm getting to the age where I'm like, what is, I was driving down the road when it first started, and I didn't realize, I literally thought people were smoking marijuana driving down the road, because I saw their little pipes, and I'm like, oh my gosh. But so the vaping, and again, they've done studies at first it was like, oh, this is so much healthier and better for you, and now we're kind of finding out that I think while it may be better than cigarettes, it's still got a lot of dangers, and I think carcinogens, and some of the smoking apparatuses can pass things on to you that are dangerous. So I don't know that it's a lot better. I know it's very popular with the younger.
But isn't that another step down?
It could.
Doesn't the vaping allow you to control the amount?
Yes.
And bring the levels down?
But if you think about it, I guess this is again more opinion than anything. They've got, it's flavored. They've got all these flavors. you're not, if anything, I think people almost maybe use it more because it's like, this kind of tastes good, and it's fun. And again, it's just even developing a habit of having something in your hand. I know that sounds silly, but that's why when people quit smoking too, it's like sometimes they don't know what to do with their hands. They need something to keep busy, or they might need gum and stuff like that. So I still think it's very habit forming. It might be slightly better, but I'm more of a fan of just wean down. If you're smoking cigarettes, try and just cut yourself down for a while. But to each their own, I suppose.
And then of course there's the cold turkey.
There's the cold turkey, and I mean that's awesome. People say that I've smoked for 20 years. I set them down one day and I never smoked again. Like, great, more power to you. That's awesome. A lot of people struggle with it more than that. So
that would be tough.
That's tough. Yeah, that's a tough one.
But then again, I'm going to bring up what happened to me back about 8 years ago with chocolate milk and peanut butter. Yeah. It became either a habit or an addiction.
Yeah, it does.
And I was sitting there that night, and I thought, why is my heart pounding? I thought, well, I just had a quart of chocolate milk and all this fat. And I went cold turkey for 3 solid years. And it just dawned on me, dude, this is an addiction. Yeah. This is a habit,
Well, and you think about that and how hard that is. And that's really, it's kind of, we laugh about it, but food is a huge addiction issue, obviously, for lots of people. And so when you think about how hard that was, okay, so then you think about someone that's on drugs that literally change your brain. So it literally makes changes in your brain when you've been using drugs. So it's hard. It would be hard to stop on a normal day, but when you've got an addicted brain that literally the wiring has changed, so when we look at people like, gosh, why can't you just quit doing that? Just don't do it again. It's not really that easy because the frame of mind that they're in and the way that their brain is processing things is different than ours.
Okay, what's the difference between addiction and craving something? Because so many times I've heard people say, I'm hungry for something, but I don't know what it is.
Right.
You've been there.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
And they crave something.
Well, that's a good point because just as an example, like at First Step, what we tell people, what we do is just medical. So we're medically detoxing. So what we're focusing on is physical withdrawal symptoms. So that would be a physical addiction to something. So we're helping people get through tremors, vomiting, all kinds of those types of things. So you've got that, which is a physical withdrawal, and then you've got a psychological withdrawal. So what I tell people when they leave First Step, okay, so we've got you through this. You're stable. The doctor signed off to say that you're okay. You can continue on your own. It does not mean that all the psychological cravings you're having for that drug or alcohol are gone in 3 days. That is still going to be. That's why we insist when people leave First Step, we've taken care of you physically. Now you have to go on to step 2, which is counseling, rehab, support groups, because a 3-night detox is definitely not going to cure a psychological craving.
Wow, I didn't think of that one.
So that's kind of the difference that I see there, and that's why we really insist that people go further than just a detox. You might feel good for a few days and make it and go, oh gosh, I feel better. But a few more days, if you put yourself right back in the same environment, you're going to still want to do what you did before, most likely. So it's a big difference. So
the psychological ramifications, it takes longer.
Absolutely.
To get there. Ooh,
absolutely. Man. Although even with opiates, and I'm not an expert on this, but I read studies and things. So, but even with the opiates, for long-term opiate use, it takes at least, I think this is common with a lot of drugs, at least a year for your brain to start to repair itself to get back to where you're thinking, like, I don't want to say a normal person, because you're not abnormal, but in a more rational way. And so you've got to allow yourself time to get through that. I think people want to rush through the recovery process, which I understand why you would, but you have to allow yourself time to really heal and be able to make those long-term changes.
Okay, the brain damage that's associated with extended meth use, can the brain be repaired?
Yes.
I mean, will it come back after, say, 4, 5, 6 years?
Yeah. Yes.
Of being clean.
Yes, it can. I think there's probably instances where people have done some irreversible damage, but most studies will show that with time that most of those things will repair themselves. And the things that are, I try to encourage people to, even the things that maybe are irreversible are not things that are going to keep you from functioning and having a good life. Granted, you might have some issues that develop from that, but I don't want that to discourage anyone, because it's nothing that you can't get through and still have a good life. So I wouldn't let that, hold people back.
It's kind of like smacking your thumb with a hammer. It's going to turn black for a while, and after about a year, it's going to go back to normal.
Yeah, It's a really good example. It is. That's very true. And you just have to be willing to put the time in and not get discouraged. And,
But that's where you all come in with First Step, because you offer this, first the medical part, but then to get the psychological counseling. I hate to use the word psychological, because they're going to say, ooh, I'm not crazy, I'm just addicted.
Right.
But, to get the help to get everything fixed the way it was.
Right. And I'm glad that you kind of said, I'm not crazy, that C word, because every time people think of psychological or mental health, it's kind of like, ugh, like, oh gosh, this person has mental health issues. Oh, yeah. Mental health, it's like any other thing on your body. It's just the health of your brain. And so it could be depression, anxiety. It could be something more severe like schizophrenia, things like that too. But it just needs treatment just like everything else. And I'm hoping that people are becoming so much more aware of that, and the stigma is going down a little bit, because gosh, to hide it, how sad is that, to have to feel like, oh, I can't tell anybody, and people are going to judge me.
I want to talk about that on the second part of the show.
Yeah.
7:31 right now. Visit with Jamie Leach, First Step BRMC. Be right back after a few breaks.
Already know that Ferris mowers are the only mowers on the market with a patented spring suspension system, saving you time in the seat, less back stress, and a professional even cut every time. You already know that Mower Warehouse is the only area dealership that will accept your mower trade-in. But did you know that a truckload of discounted 2017 models just arrived at Mower Warehouse, allowing you the pleasure of saving hundreds of dollars on your next mower purchase of a new Ferris or Simplicity zero-turn machine? Come check out the parking lot sale at Mower Warehouse, located on Buzzard Roost in Mountain Home.
With a large showroom of over 13,000 square feet, the Furniture Depot is your local choice for quality name brand furniture at prices anyone can afford. They carry a great selection of catnapper recliners, power recliners with lumbar support, and lift chairs. Check out Furniture Depot's variety of living room and dining room sets in various styles and designs. And don't forget about their mattress gallery featuring Serta, Symbol mattresses, and adjustable beds. Family owned and operated, that's Furniture Depot, located in the Ozark Shopping Center in Mountain Home.
Hi, I'm Ricky with Arch Trash Pickup. If anybody needs trash service in the area, please give us a call. Arch Trash Service is veteran owned, and I've been in the local area resident for over 20 years. I'll provide a better service than the other guys, and even provide front door service trash pickup for those that aren't able to take their trash to the curb. We'll also pick up almost anything and even provide free recycling. I am Ricky with Arch Trash Pickup, and please give me a call for all your trash service needs.
Our old burger was only 7 ounces, but now it's 8 with brioche bun and pickles. Comes with its own steak knife, it's really that big. Your best competition is always yourself. Chili's is back, baby, back, baby, back. Oh, baby, Chili's is back, baby, back, baby, back. We're focused on one thing, burgers, ribs, fajitas. Just that one thing, burgers, ribs, and fajitas. We're reeling in our menu because it got out of hand. We had a moment of self-actualization. Chili's is back, baby, back, baby, back. Oh, baby, Chili's is back, baby, back, baby, back.
Have you ever noticed every time you wash your car, you end up wetter than the actual car? Next time, run down to Car Care and let the friendly staff put a smile on your face. Car Care of Mountain Home has a variety of services to clean your vehicle's needs, inside and out. From a simple wash and shine to their outstanding detail services. Located 1525 Highway 62 East in Mountain Home. Stop by Car Care Mountain Home today, because driving a clean car always makes you feel good.
Jim Brown Company keeps you cool when it's hot and warm when it's not. A trusted name in the mountain home community, Jim Brown Company provides timely heating and cooling installation and repairs. Our certified technicians incorporate new technology on every job to provide you with the most advanced services. At our metal fabrication shop, we handle projects big and small. We've created everything from commercial ducts to custom designs.
I'd recommend Jim Brown Company to my friends and neighbors. The reason being they have high-tech equipment. Their service techs are well qualified for the job that they do, and they also send me a report after all the work is done so I know exactly what my unit's doing.
By visiting our showroom, you can learn all about our heating and cooling products. We'll educate you on your options and help you decide on the right solution. For total comfort at your home or business, choose Jim Brown Company. Quality service with a family name since 1964.
Yeah. 7:35. We're visiting with Jamie Leach, First Step Baxter Regional Medical Center. And before we went to break, we were talking about what I'm trying to think of the term. If you got a problem, you need help, get the help. And well, what are people going to think? What if they find out at church, or what if they find out at this club, or what if so-and-so finds out? Okay, let's take care of the problem first. Let's quit worrying about what people think.
When I
the pride issue.
Absolutely. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt you. I was just thinking, the word that comes to mind for me when people do reach out, decide to get help, especially if they've been struggling with what you're saying, worried about what people think. I always think of the word brave, because it is a brave thing to do. Not only are you going to go, okay, who's going to know this, but it's also you're stepping into a completely unknown situation. You really don't know, if you're coming to us, you don't really know us. You don't really know exactly what to expect. You know that you're about to have to give up something that has basically been your lifeline. Well, it leads to death, oddly enough, but in your mind, that's your lifeline. That's very brave. I think that's awesome. Yeah, I hope that other people would see it that way.
Well, you participated in the still in production film we're doing for TV, and I had a late 40s, early 50s age female call and say, I've got a problem. I could have fallen over. Like, what?
Wow. Yeah.
The painkiller stuff.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow.
Yeah. And
admit you got the problem.
Mm-hmm. And it's even people, we think about people in the community, but it could be their own family that they're afraid of telling that to, because if you're in an addiction, you're 9 times out of 10, whatever you're addicted to, you live a life that has a lot to do with hiding things. You're hiding your alcohol, you're hiding your drugs, you're hiding your behavior, you're hiding the mistakes that you're making, you're trying to hide things at work, you're trying to hide it from your spouse. So you live this very, secretive life.
So there again, there's more mental aspect, because now you're having to find more ways to hide this from everybody else.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness. So that just makes the knot a little bit tighter.
It does. And because then you're going to have to admit, I've been lying to you for a long time, and so you've got trust issues that have to be rebuilt. But I really think if anyone in your life that cares about you at all, they're gonna get over that. It's gonna be okay, and at the end of the day, they're gonna just be happy that you are getting help. So, yeah, you may have some rough patches.
You'd probably get more support from the people you're afraid of them knowing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. At least they would explain to them, oh, okay, this explains why you've been this way, or this behavior, or why our relationship has been tumultuous. At least you can start working towards a solution then. So,
back about 28 years ago, I was trying a new occupation. Back in 1990, I had a sponsor, and this gentleman loved coffee just like I do. He drank coffee all the time. And then all of a sudden, after about 6 or 8 months, he changed the Sprite. Why did he change the Sprite? Wait a minute, vodka.
Oh, okay, true, yeah.
He was mixing. He was pouring about yay much of the Sprite out of the can, mixing it with vodka, shaking it up a little bit. He'd bring in the Sprite. Nobody thought, he's. But you got to watch the changes in behavior, and that's why I went to. Let's see if I can find this copy here. I went to Hidden in Plain View. Did you hear about that program?
I am so glad you brought that up. I was so disappointed. I had a prior engagement I could not get out of, and I missed it, and I hated to miss that.
Well, and this is something else, because while you've got a great program, we want to have people avoid having to use the program if possible because of the addiction. But you can get online and you can get phony water bottles.
Right.
You can get girls' lipstick cases. You can get guys' chapstick, lip balm stuff. This lady says, "What do you think of my watch?" It look like a watch. Click, click, click. It's a grinder.
Yeah.
She can actually put an ounce of marijuana in her like that and grind them on her wristwatch.
Crazy, yes.
A mouse, click, slide the base off. There's a scale.
Wow.
In the mouse. Looks like a regular mouse.
Wow.
And so, you know, we need to make parents aware.
Yep.
Behavior changes. Have you seen, I mean...
Oh, absolutely. I think there's always behavioral changes. And the thing with young kids that's kind of especially makes that hard to determine is young kids are always going to be moody. And like teenage years, you've got hormones, you've got friends and peer pressure and all that. So a lot of parents mistake that for just being, oh, they're just being a teenager, or they're just being difficult. And I see why they would. You know, they mirror each other, and so you have to be, I think, unfortunately now you have to be so much more proactive, knowing who your kids' friends are. I know kids are going to go, oh, you don't trust me, I can't believe you're looking in my room, or I can't believe this or that, but hey, I'd rather have my kid mad at me for a little bit and then live to have a good life.
Yep. And
then look back in one day and go, oh, okay, I see why you did that. You know, I mean,
but I tell you what, I mean, all my 4 boys are adults. And I still wanted to see this. Shannon Ruckert was here, and she talked about this. I said, well, I need to see that because we're still working on the film for TV. And it's just mind-boggling that you can get a lipstick tube, you can get lip balm for guys, and even undergarments where they can hide the pills in undergarments, both for men and women.
Right. It's sad to me, the people that market those things, and especially people that specifically market children, the younger.
I got to show you this. The people on TV can't see this, but I'll try to hold this up. I don't know if the camera. Looks like a calculator, right? Okay. So if I put my code in there, now it's a hidden private.
Oh yeah, right.
And they said they can hide pictures, all kinds of stuff, drug dealers. You can hide phone numbers and everything right here. And parents look at it like, oh, well, looky there. They've got a calculator on the phone.
Right.
But you can
They're
enter
doing
a
their
code
homework. That's sweet.
And hit the % sign. And there's all kinds of things underneath that you can hide, that you can never detect.
Yeah. And I know that is unsettling and scary, and my son's only almost 7, but it already worries me because even the job that I'm in and some of the experiences we've had in my own family, I felt like I'm fairly savvy, but it's so always evolving and staying one step ahead. It's really hard to know.
Sometimes one step ahead ain't enough.
Right.
In this day and time, what I saw it hidden in plain view, I thought, wow.
Yeah. And I think that like I said, I hated to miss that. I think that's a really great tool, especially for parents that have never had any background of any kind of drug use of their own, or were around friends or anything. I mean, my mother grew up never having known of any about that, and we ended up having some issues in my own family. So it was mind-blowing to her when she found out what had been going on, because she just missed it. She didn't know what to look for, and it wasn't her fault,
Yeah.
But now we just have to be diligent about staying ahead of it. And I really think staying active in your children's lives, trying to maintain a active family unit, really staying on top of who their friends are, I think that goes a long way too.
Well, and then Scooter's involved in the wrestling program, football program, a lot of time sports activities, keeps the kids active.
Yeah.
And they've been very successful with the wrestling and the football. Of course, I've been involved in baseball and some football over the last several years. But
am I correct that they now do, or at least in the school system, if you're involved in extracurricular activities or sports, you can be drug tested? Is that?
Yes. My son, who just finished 7th grade, I think he's already been drug tested twice, which is awesome.
See,
I think it's a great thing.
And it's random?
Yes.
Is it?
Yep.
I'm a fan of that.
Now, once you get to the high school, I think it's mandatory. If you're in any type of sport or outside activity, it will be mandatory.
Oh, in fact, in Plainview, they actually had a drug test neutralization that you can buy online. So, at Friday at 3 o'clock, you're going to be drug tested. So, this is why it has to be random.
Right.
And they have this stuff that I don't know what they do to it. They explained it, but they actually have this stuff where you can neutralize out a drug test.
Yeah.
And now your boy was what, 2-time All-American?
4-time
All-American?
4-time All-American Nationals.
Wow.
And
nice.
see, his son's looking forward to next season. Now he plays football.
He does football and wrestling as his two big sports, and I'm blessed with the sports because that will keep his mind off of wanting to even try these things because he knows that if he gets caught, he's done.
Right.
I mean, he won't have those opportunities. So it kind of gives him another area to look at and be able to say, hey, no, I can't do that because of this.
Right.
Yeah.
And you would surely see his performance start to suffer, if he
very
was
quickly,
doing something.
especially at that level,
especially
you know right away.
Wow.
Yeah,
and
I
it's
think
just like
that's...
when we were talking to, I think it was superintendent was here. That drugs are prevalent in this area. They really are, and they do find them when they drug test some of the kids in sports, but a lot of times by having that allows them to catch it early,
right,
and help the kid through it.
They would rather help than hurt the kid.
Yeah, and they're having that opportunity to catch it early before it's really settled in and it's caused their mind changes.
Definitely.
And it really makes a difference. I'm really happy that we have that.
I do too, and I don't know what types of things they offer when they find someone that has tested positive, but I'm sure that there's things in the juvenile system and things that they can do, and if they're offering them some kind of treatment, then absolutely, that's wonderful.
I think there's some type of help they can get before any law enforcement, anything like that would be.
Yeah, I don't know the whole ordeal, but yeah, I know that their focus is that child and get them off of it and get them back into square one again.
You bet. 7:46, time for a quick break. Visiting with Jamie Leach, First Step, Baxter Regional Medical Center. Be right back.
Why would I recommend Hospice of the Ozarks? Because I know the people that work there, I know their hearts, and I know that their desire is to help people with the suffering and the anxiety and the things that can come with either a terminal diagnosis or a terminal condition. We want them to have a peace of heart and to have a comfort and to know that someone's there to help them through that so they can enjoy the time that they have.
If you want the best breakfast or lunch in the Twin Lakes area, then you've got to come to the Old Time Restaurant. Voted the best breakfast and lunch for 2011, the Old Time Restaurant not only gives you the Southern hospitality right when you walk in the door, they also offer scrumptious breakfast options to curb that early morning appetite. Or stop in later in the day for a tasty sandwich, salad, or a daily special. If a sweet tooth is your guilty pleasure, you can't go wrong with the Pie Lady cooking out over 30 different types of pies. That's the Old Time Restaurant located on the square in Mountain Home.
Do you ever feel like your butt's dragging and you could really use a lift? Ozark Diesel Off-Road. Ozark Diesel Off-Road has been installing lifts for over 25 years. They specialize in all your off-road vehicle needs, from general repairs such as engine diagnostics, clutch and brake repair, to custom fabrication like axle gears and lockers, leveling and suspension kits, and everything in between. So if your vehicle could really use a lift, head to Ozark Diesel Off-Road, located at 5051 Highway 62 East, or give them a call at 870-425-LIFT. Nemus Pizza in Gassville, Arkansas is your home for national and international award-winning pizza. Nemus Pizza offers artisan-made award-winning pizza with only the freshest and finest of ingredients. Each pizza is made from scratch and hand-tossed at the time you place your order. And also check out their calzone strombolis, an oven-baked folded pizza stuffed with your choice of meat. Sauce can be on the side or included inside at your request. Nemus Pizza in Gassville, Arkansas, your home for award-winning pizza. 7:48, finishing out the show with Jamie Leach, BRMC's First Step program, and you've got a little pamphlet here. Let's go through what you've got here and what First Step has to offer.
Okay.
And the first thing we want people to understand is this is not a program to say, you got a problem. This is not a judgmental program.
Yeah.
This is a helping hand reaching out. If you want help, come see Jamie and the staff there. And go ahead and tell us what's the first step, no pun intended.
Catchy little name, we thought. So First Step is a part of Baxter Regional, and so what we are designed to do, and I mentioned this briefly earlier, but we help people through physical withdrawal symptoms. So if someone is addicted to any kind of opiate, whether it be a street drug like heroin, whether it be prescription like oxycodone, or anything in between that falls into that opiate category, any kind of alcohol, or any kind of benzo. So the benzos are more like the Valiums, the Xanax, that type of thing. We do a full medical detox, which basically consists of a 3-night stay at the hospital, 3-night stay average. The patients are under a doctor's care, so just like any other patient, they have their own room. They have 24/7 nursing staff at their disposal. We do give them some medications while they're there to help them through their withdrawal symptoms. We do not, however, prescribe them things for when they leave. And what I mean by that is we're not trying to trade, oh, you had this, so let's start you on this and get you addicted to something else. So we don't do that. And we do, like I said before, require that they have an aftercare plan. So an aftercare plan is most likely going to be a rehab or residential treatment facility. However, we have some employers in the community, I guess I won't mention their names because I don't know if they want to be mentioned, but that are really good about working with their staff. So if someone will go to them and self-disclose and say, hey, I have a problem with alcohol, I'm really struggling, they will allow them time off work to come to us, go through a detox, and will hold their job. And so sometimes in those situations, the people can go back to work, but they'll continue on an outpatient basis, getting counseling or support groups and that kind of thing. We prefer most of the time that they'll do a residential treatment first, only because just a little bit of time out of their environment, a little bit longer, is usually proves more successful. We do take people 18 and over, so I know we've talked a lot about the younger generation. Sure. I think there are probably places that work with youth, but ours is just 18 and over. Hopefully cost won't be a big issue, because if you have any kind of medical insurance, Medicare, Medicaid, Blue Cross, whatever it may be, it will usually cover the stay with us in its entirety most of the time, and that's something we can check quickly on the phone. The only thing we ask is that people don't just show up instead of calling first, because it gets a little chaotic sometimes, especially when people are going through withdrawals and we're trying to make a plan for them and check their transportation and all these things. So it makes it easier on everyone if they call us first. Yeah, so please call. Our number, if you don't, if you don't mind me saying, is 870-508-7590. You can call us Monday through Friday. We will talk to you just like we're talking here. It's very informal. Just get some information, see if we can help you. If so, we will plan an admission for you, help you come up with your aftercare plan, and just hopefully get you plugged in. If we can't help you for some reason, or if we talk to you and it's like, well, we probably don't need detox, but you might need to go ahead and go into a rehab, that's fine. It's not a wasted phone call. If we can get you plugged in to get help somewhere, that's our main goal.
That's the whole objective.
Yes, definitely.
No judgment, just help. Wow.
Yep.
And then to break down that barrier of what if so-and-so finds out? So what?
Right. And, for our purposes, we can put you in, and I think mainly do regardless, as a confidential patient. So on your room, it can just say confidential. You don't have to be listed up on the boards in the hospital. We're certainly not going to tell anyone. We're bound by HIPAA laws. We're not going to ever talk about your case with anyone except the nurses and the doctors that are directly involved in your care. If someone calls up to the hospital and asks for you, you're going to be listed confidential. We're not going to be able to say that you're even there. So in the beginning, if that's something that is important to you, we will definitely honor and respect that as well.
Was it you just tell me about fentanyl? Tell us about fentanyl and how it can be laced into some of the...
So fentanyl, oh gosh, it's a real problem because fentanyl is used mainly for cancer patients. It's a very strong pain reliever. And so you may have heard of like the fentanyl patches and things like that. Well, the handy drug dealers have figured out that fentanyl is less expensive, and it's a very, very small amount goes a long way. And I mean a very small amount, like grains of sand, small, little.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, you told me one time if we put a penny on the table and put fentanyl and Lincoln's ear on the penny.
That's what it said, that's enough to be a lethal dose. So you've got these drug dealers who by all means are not, holding master's degrees or, doctors, and they are using this to cut their drugs to make it go further. That's Russian roulette for sure. I mean, And when this first kind of started coming out, it was like, well, this is just in the opiates. But now they're seeing it in cocaine and meth. It's made into pills. And so the pills you're getting, you know, used to, at least when you get a pill, you're like, well, at least I know what this is. I can identify this pill as Xanax or whatever. No, you can't even count on that anymore because they're putting it in there. And so you're seeing deaths come from things that, you know, meth generally, and this is a general statement, you don't hear as many people overdosing from meth as you would an opiate or something like that, but you're seeing more of that now, and with the cocaine as well, because again, the fentanyl is so strong that it's causing people to die.
Sheriff Montgomery said something about cofentanyl. Have you heard about that one?
Carfentanyl.
Carfentanyl,
yes. The best way I know to explain that, and I wish I would have brought, I had some pamphlets about that too, but it's fentanyl on steroids. And fentanyl's already pretty much on steroids, you know. So
Good
it's
grief.
just it's used as a elephant tranquilizer, I believe is what it was. So imagine some of that given to a human, you know. It's
I can't imagine.
yeah.
No.
And you know, I hope as a community we do have a little bit of righteous anger towards these drug dealers that are targeting our kids.
Yeah.
Because they don't care if you live or die. They're just trying to make a buck. And especially when you start throwing that in the mix, I mean, that gets me a little bit fired up. It really does. And I hope, and it should everyone, you know. It's sad that that's the world we're living in, that our kids are living in, but I think we can overcome it. We just have to be a lot more on guard than we used to be about it. So
Wow.
yeah. And I think I was talking to some of this. I was at the health fair recently, and some of the I think it was junior high students came through.
Yeah.
And I was talking to a couple of the girls at my booth, and I said, "Tell me what's going on in the schools?" I was like, I'm just picking their brain, like what's going on as far as drugs, alcohol, this or that. And they said, you know, marijuana obviously still a big deal, alcohol still a big deal, and they were talking about vaping. You know, you were asking me earlier, and they were saying that they have what do you call them, like a jump drive that you use.
Yeah,
you know, it looks like that, and it's a little vaping thing.
Yep.
So the teachers are having a real hard time
They have
keeping
that
tabs
also.
on all that.
Yeah.
You know, because it's just these little things that we don't even know to look for, you know, are
And that,
going on.
that little thing it plugs in, it comes up at a 90-degree angle. It looks like a little antenna almost on a computer. And they pop that apart, and they said they can also put heroin in there.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
In the very top. I thought, what?
Right.
You know, and it just looks like a port for the USB.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, you know, even before these fancy little gadgets came out, you know, when you're addicted to drugs, you get pretty crazy in the way you hide things. So a lot of people would put things in the hem of their clothes. So, you know, or if you have, you know, a waistband that ties, you know, you can stick drugs around in there. So it's kind of like always been there, but now these companies are profiting off of it, making it even more accessible and easy. And
they had clothing lines there for men and women, and if you can imagine it, you can hide the drugs. It's there. I just like, you've got to be kidding me.
Well, I don't know how much time we have. I was just going to mention
About 2.5 minutes.
Okay, my son was on his little tablet the other day, and I monitor him pretty well, and he gets on kids' YouTube sometimes, you know, which is supposed to be safe. And so I'm making dinner the other day, and he clicked on something that's like a kid's cartoon type of thing. I think it was like a Spider-Man thing. And I'm cooking, and all of a sudden I hear coming out of the tablet this little song, and then it talks about shooting heroin. That's the lyrics in the song to the kids thing. So again, they're trying to really infiltrate our young children. I mean, these are things that young kids are going to click on. And he didn't even know. Boy, I almost came across the counter. I was on it, you know, and turn it off. But it makes me so sad to think that people would be so sick to do that. What, you know, I mean, what kind of? I think there's a special place for them.
You know, when I went to Hidden in Plain View, this was over at the library last week, I just like, what? You've got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
You've got to be kidding me.
But we're, you know, I think as a community, we're really coming together. There's a group formed by the schools and another opiate awareness group, and we're combining our efforts. And so I think we're doing all that we can, you know, and I think we'll continue to learn more things that hopefully we can do for prevention efforts.
Final minute. Phone number again, First Step, VRMC?
Sure, yeah. So First Step phone number again, of course, it's area code 870-508-7590. If you're even wondering, hey, what would it be like to get help? If I was just going to put my toe in the water and just see what it's like, call us. If you don't even want to give me your name at first, that's fine. If you just want to know what's available, I would love to talk to you. I know a lot of people that have gone through our program that were really bad off, and they're doing so well now. Good. So well. So there's a lot of hope out there. All the things we talked about seem very negative, but I want to remind you that there's a lot of good out there. There's a lot of good help available. Please call. I would love to talk to you.
And that pretty well wraps it up. Thanks to Jamie Leach for being here. BRMC's First Step program. Scooter.
Jim Bumgardner.
Coming up next. See you tomorrow.
Thank you.